Good afternoon, Coolest Coast. It is time for Coffee on the Coast. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Coffee on the Coast. I'm your host today, Tina Prigge. Welcoming back to the show, Deena Larsen with the Lakeshore Seed Collective. Hi, Deena.
Hi, Tina. How are you?
Great. Are you staying warm?
I certainly am.
One thing I was delighted to see that you were my guest today because we are talking about the annual seed swap. And that makes me think, even though we're buried under all of this snow, spring is coming.
It certainly is. And I notice at 5 p.m. you can still see outside. So I know it's just around the corner. It has to be.
Isn't that funny what that does though for your well-being, that little extra sunlight?
It sure does.
So let's tell everybody about the upcoming seed swap. This is the fifth annual Lakeshore Seed Swap happening at Manitowoc Public Library on Saturday, March 1st. What should people know, Deena?
Well, first of all, they should know this is a free event. It's open to anyone, and you don't have to bring anything. Every year that we've done it, we've had people who said, well, I didn't really have anything. I didn't feel like just coming. It's like, no, please do. Our goal is to try and get as many seeds in the hands of people as possible, whether they're novice gardeners, beginning gardeners, or seasoned veterans. So it's really a fun event, and it's an opportunity to try out new varieties of seeds.
So when somebody comes to the seed swap, there are seeds available that they can choose from to take home with them to start their gardens.
Absolutely. We currently have a box in the library. It's right by the checkout desk on the main floor. So if there's anybody who has extra seeds, who I hope not, but maybe has given up on gardening or who tried a variety and they just didn't really like it for some reason, they can drop those seeds off. And then we will go through them and we'll have them all laid out in the Balkanski room by, like peppers over here and tomatoes here and herbs here. So people can come in and just find what they're interested in growing.
Now, is it all edible garden seeds or are there also flowers, things like that?
There are flower seeds as well, and many flowers are edible as well. So, yeah, anything's fine.
Oh, what's an edible flower that you like?
Nasturtiums. Um, I don't know if you remember at Grow It Forward, there was a chef there, and she turned me on to nasturtiums as being an edible flower. She put them on salads. So Rebecca was her name, and it was like, wow, I didn't know you could eat those.
Okay, my mom made me eat a nasturtium once, and so I'm glad for the confirmation that that was okay.
Yes, you didn't do you wrong.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so if somebody wants to come to the seed swap, they don't have to have seeds that they bring along to share. They can, they're welcome to. But otherwise, they can come and choose from amongst the seeds that you have. Um, can they choose multiple different things?
Yeah, we ask people to only take what you're going to grow. So, for instance, a packet of seeds here, there I am, like these cilantro seeds. There are probably 30, 40 seeds in here. You maybe don't want 30, 40 cilantro plants. Maybe you do, but we'll have little envelopes on the table as well. So, a person, we just ask that you open it up. We'll have writing utensils. You can write cilantro, the variety, etc., and then you can just have your own little packet that you can take home to try. So.
Awesome. So you already have those little envelopes prepared. A person doesn't need to bring their own envelopes, little baggies, nothing like that.
Correct. We'll have envelopes. Also, anytime you get junk mail, there's an envelope. We'll have lots of those too. So if we don't have enough little envelopes, you'll have something you can take the seeds home in.
Okay. Now, what if somebody is a novice and they have questions about what to plant, when to plant? Um, you know, are knowledgeable folks like you going to be on site and willing to answer questions, or is that not a good time to ask questions?
It's a wonderful time to ask questions. We will have two master gardeners there at the registration table. And if we don't know the answer, which is quite often the case, we'll say, why don't you talk to those people over there? It is a library too, so there's plenty of books and things that are available. And really, that's the thing that we love most about this is the conversation that happens without us. It's just gardeners talking to other gardeners, they see somebody like, oh, you're getting those marigolds? What did you, oh yeah, I grow these because, and it's really fun to listen in and fun to be part of those.
I once read a book where they planted marigolds around the edge of the garden to protect some of the food plants that they were growing from rabbits, I think. Is
Yeah,
that a thing?
it's a thing. I haven't done it to confirm it, but I've read that enough. I'm thinking it must be true that rabbits don't like the smell of marigolds. So whatever you can do to keep them out is worth trying. Plus, marigolds a really easy seed to save. You just save the blossom at the end, let it dry. Next year, just sprinkle it around and you'll have more marigolds.
Oh, and they're so pretty. They're so lovely to have around.
Especially now, lots more colors. Not just when I was growing up, I remember the orange and the yellow, and maybe but now there's really a lot of varieties.
Oh, really? It goes more beyond orange and yellow?
It does, yeah.
See, it's so great to talk with other gardeners, right? What a great opportunity, because there's lots of things that you can learn, lots of things that you can share. Tim said, and someone donated a ton of garden stakes at the seed swap for people to take home as well.
Yeah, someone did that last year too, and that was just so thoughtful and nice. I think they just like making garden stakes. So it's nice that it's not just seeds or other garden things there. I usually have old catalogs and things of companies that I really like. Um, we try and encourage people to grow heirloom seeds because then you can save them and get the same result at the end. If you have a hybrid, like my favorite tomato is a hybrid, so every year I have to buy those seeds. I can't save them, otherwise I'll get a different type of tomato when I grow it out the second year. So, yeah,
What? I didn't know that. So explain. So an heirloom seed is something that will stay consistent, but a hybrid won't?
correct. A hybrid is a cross between different varieties. So a sun gold tomato, I grew 25 kinds of cherry tomatoes one year, and I found the sun gold is absolutely the best as far as what I like. But the seeds, they're crossed from other different varieties. So then that hybrid, you have to get those same seeds. If I were to save those seeds and grow them the next year, I might get characteristics of one or the other of the seeds that they were crossed with, and it wouldn't taste or look like what I got in the first year. So
So, okay, this is getting to be a little more scientific, but how do you get those consistent hybrid seeds then? Like if it's not coming from the sun gold tomatoes that you yourself grow, how do you get the seeds that you know will grow that? Where do they come from?
I think it's the seed company that must know how they create them. That's more science than I know as well. So we usually like my favorite company is I'm not getting anything from them. There's no endorsement, but Baker Creek, they have this heirloom catalog that is really thick, and they have all heirlooms. So we try and encourage, or like Seed Savers Exchange, um, they put out heirloom type seeds so that you can learn to save your seeds and you don't have to buy them every year.
Gotcha. So an heirloom is kind of like a purebred.
Yeah, you can think of it that way. Yeah, I'm trying to think of Mendel and crossing peas and things from biology in 10th grade, but that was too long ago. But the thing that makes it an heirloom oftentimes, though, is the story that goes along with it. And every year in that catalog, they feature different stories. And if you have time for one story now, I'd love to share.
Oh, please do.
I go on a website that has a subgroup that has seed savers, and I just kind of look at that every time, from time to time. And there was one person who had seeds and said, "I have way too many seeds. I'll just send them to anybody free of charge. You don't have to pay me postage." And they told about this squash seed. So I said I was really interested, and because I explained we had a seed swap, they're sending squash seeds from Southern California that almost became extinct, that they found a gentleman who had them every year at a seed swap. He passed away. They still had some seeds, and there's an information sheet that got lost. So this person tracked down a reference librarian who had information because you couldn't find it on the internet. And it's a native tribe, the Chumash indigenous people of Southern California. This was a squash native to them. And this person online said, "I'd love to have some people in Wisconsin growing this out." So I haven't received the package yet. I know it's coming, but I'm hoping there's enough seeds that I can get other people saying, "Hey, we have a responsibility here to keep this variety of squash alive." So that's, to me, that's exciting.
That is a really cool story, and what an important reason to attend the event too, right? To be able to do your part in keeping this going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had more and more people each year bring their own seeds who will just share them. There was somebody who had a lot of interesting sunflowers, just varieties, Mexican sunflowers, just different pretty colors and things. And it's really neat to see other people getting involved in saving their own seed.
That's beautiful. Wow, that's beautiful. So, is there something that, I mean, that, like that squash, for example, is something to be excited about in the past 5 years? Was there some other seeds that you were excited to discover?
For me, it was a fish pepper. I maybe talked about this last year, but it was a seed that was in the Caribbean. It found its way to like the Carolinas, Baltimore area. They like to use it in sauces for seafood, and it almost became extinct. And there's a really interesting story. It's elaborate, and I don't remember all the details, but this one person is responsible for saving it, keeping it alive. So any fish pepper seeds now in the country can be traced back to that one person's plant. So I've been growing that one out. I will have fish pepper seeds there. It's a hot pepper, a little hotter than a jalapeno. And I've also wintered that plant over. I'm on year 3 where I bring the pepper in every year and then I can put it back out in the garden. So that's one that I'm excited about.
And Brian makes an important point here. He says, very cool story to have the story behind those seeds. How awesome. I think that really makes it special too.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that there's some people locally that maybe they have been growing things and it's like, well, this is always grandma's, whatever tomato that we had, and I don't know what kind it is, but you know, and I really think nowadays it's an important time. There's uncertainty with the economy and food supply and all of those that I think we need to get back to the Victory Garden model. There's an organization that now calls it the Climate Change Victory Garden because we need to keep our plant diversity alive.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so what we are talking about today with Deena is the upcoming seed swap. This is the fifth annual Lakeshore Area Seed Swap. It's happening Saturday, March 1st, 9 a.m. to noon at the Volkansky Community Room at Manitowoc Public Library. It is absolutely free to attend. You don't need to bring anything, although if you have seeds to share, please bring those along and come and grab some seeds so that you can plant your own garden this spring, which isn't far away.
Which isn't far away. We've established that. So
Deena, is there anything else you want to share with us about the seed swap that you want people to know? Any other stories?
um, I just really want to thank the library for hosting this. It's hard to believe this is the fifth year, but both Tim Gedzinski, Meredith Gedzinski have been instrumental. And just like to add that the library also has a seed library located on the first floor. So if people are coming for the seed swap, they can always go there and check out. I think it's 4 or 5 different sets of seeds, and you don't have to return them. They're not overdue or there's no fine. So you can find seeds there too.
Oh, that's great. So around the clock, year long, throughout
Yearly.
the year, they have the seed library that you can visit if you can't make the seed swap, or if you can, in addition to.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, Deena, thank you so much for filling us with thoughts of spring today.
Well, thank you. And it was wonderful to see you again.
Great to see you. My guest today, Deena Larsen with Lakeshore Seed Collective for the upcoming seed swap at Manitowoc Public Library. I'm your host today, Tina Prigge. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Coffee on the Coast. We'll see you next time.